Hello and welcome to IdeaGen's Global Leadership Summit. Today we have with us Tomas Thyblad, the Vice President and Head of ESG Solutions for the European markets at Nasdaq. Thomas, welcome.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we're really excited to get into the insights that you'll be sharing with us. To begin a little bit, could you please share with our audience a little bit about yourself and your roles and responsibilities as Vice President, Head of ESG Solutions, European markets at Nasdaq?
Yes, sure. I work at the European markets and have a responsibility to oversee our ESG related solutions. So that is everything within the ESG in sustainability and what we can do in order to help our clients, i.e., both the corporates and the investors. So that is my main responsibility. I've been with Nasdaq in many years in different roles, and since 2 years back, I have solely focused on this area, which is really interesting and very inspiring, I must say.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly is a hot topic right now as well. And so, how do you see NASDAQ as uniquely positioned to help build sustainable markets?
I think Nasdaq has a very unique position. I mean, we have in the role we have as in stock exchange operator, we have a really good position uh, to work as a catalyst between the issuers and i.e. the corporates and the investors, and to link these two players together and thereby ensure that we go in the right path within the sustainability area. So, for instance, our main goal here is to actually support the corporates we have, or the listed corporates we have as dear clients, and ensure that they embark on this ESG journey. We definitely think that all the corporates need to do this in order to have access to capital over time. And that is our primary role, to ensure that we support corporates to get that access. And in the same time, as a stock exchange operator, what we also want to do is to provide transparency to the market. And that is what we try to help the issuers to provide the information, to be fully transparent within this area, in order to connect the investors and have them to be able to do very fully informed investment decision, i.e., have the information within the ESG, within the sustainability area, so they can make a responsible investment decision based on accurate and fully disclosed information. So I think that is actually the key point here, with our position in the middle and the main goals we have to support the corporates, access capital, and to provide transparency.
Absolutely. And I think that's all extremely crucial when we're talking about sustainability and ESG. And NASDAQ being the only exchange group with regulated markets on equities in both the US and Europe, how exactly does NASDAQ help to connect the dots on a global scale when it comes to sustainable investments?
I think, as you said, having these two footholds, both in the US and in the Nordics in this area, in this field, is very good. For once, the Europe and maybe the Nordics is quite early adopter in this area, and I think to a certain extent we can leverage on that when we serve the US market and the US clients as well. And of course, we have the strength with the this position in US and the reach to the large both corporates and investors there. So I think that is really good and strong position we have, and can benefit both towards the US market and the US participants, as well as the Nordic and European side.
Absolutely. So, Thomas, slightly shifting gears a little bit here, we are in the annual Global Leadership Summit for IdeaGen here. So, could you describe to us a little bit about your leadership style, being a vice president and head of ESG at Nasdaq's European markets? And then, how do you kind of infuse that into the teams that you lead at Nasdaq?
I think in general, I think the key point is to engage and to communicate. I mean, I think that is really key in every leadership role. It's in this particular role I have, I think it's a bit of luxury because it's really a positive, such a positive area and field, and everyone, more or less everyone, feels very inspired and want to work with these with this area and try to contribute within the sustainability area, and that is obviously making everything easier. But otherwise, I would really recommend to invite the team members to have an open climate, to be open for just suggestions and input, and then engage your team members in order to drive the process forward.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of really unique insights from the other speakers, but I think that was in particular very insightful. And you're right. When you do good work, you end up working with good people. So it helps a lot. We know that firsthand here at IdeaGen. And so moving on, Nasdaq's Nordic markets have really helped to pioneer the company's ESG. Can you share with us some of the unique ESG offerings that you all have?
Absolutely. I think we have worked for quite some time actually within Nasdaq, and especially from the Nasdaq Nordic side with the ESG area, and we are fairly broad in the different ways we support corporates and investors. But I can mention just a few initiatives we have. One is what we call the Nasdaq Sustainable Bond Network, and that is actually very much a typical solution we have in terms of the role we have when it comes to serving the corporate and their access to capital, as well as creating transparency. The Nasdaq Sustainable Bond Network is a true global transparency platform for sustainable bonds, and that is a way for investors to access in an easy way at a one single access point all available sustainable bonds issued in the world, and it's not only our own listed bonds, but it's actually global. And there you have all the necessary documentation in terms of the bond and what kind of green framework it adheres to, what the impact is, etc., which is very useful for investors. And then on the other side of that, when we connect the issuers, that is actually a very good way for them to ensure that they provide transparency towards their own issues, to ensure that they can compare their work and their bonds with peers, etc. So that is one, I would say, very, very good example. We have like 5,000 plus bonds on the platform, more than 800 issuers, and we're more than 35 countries on board.
Wow.
On that platform. So it's interesting.
Yeah, no, it certainly sounds like that, and I could see that being an extremely, useful tool as part of Nasdaq's repertoire. And in 2020, Nasdaq acquired One Report, and I know it might not necessarily be within your wheelhouse, but One Report being a provider of corporate ESG data management and reporting services, how has that helped to further Nasdaq's mission and global sustainable efforts?
I think it's also a good example. But when we say that we want to support the corporates in their ESG journey, One Report is a good example, because here what we do here is to actually provide a hands-on, a very concrete tool for the corporates to handle their own internal ESG work, and that goes like a workflow tool for all the data they have to handle when providing information, and thereby creating transparency towards different stakeholders. And that actually facilitates in a very swift way to support all these different stakeholders. It could be rating institutes or different other types of recipients of ESG data in an easy way, and just send it out to these different recipients in their different formats. So it's a very or a very neat tool to simplify that process. And that actually goes also, if you look at what we want to do here, is both to help the corporates to measure their, for instance, their emissions, be able to make it transparent and send it out to the different stakeholders. And then also to mention another initiative we have, what we call Pure Earth, is which is a carbon removal marketplace. And there is actually how we support the companies how to manage their carbon emissions as well. So we really try to support the corporates in the full chain, so to say, within this space.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely incredible. And we've talked a lot about, sustainability and ESG today. And these are, very trending buzzwords currently. But with Nasdaq being an industry leader in them, do you see a shift in corporations who strive to build business not only that's profitable, but also contributes positively to society, whether that be in sustainable or ESG efforts?
Yes, definitely. I think it is not only as you say, it's not only shareholders' economy; it's like stakeholders' economy, and you have to fulfill the whole range of needs. And if you're not sustainable, if you don't have a business model which is sustainable, you won't attract the right customers, you won't attract the right employees, etc. So I think that's it's very necessary, and we do see that shift absolutely, and the corporates wanted to make good. So definitely we see that that trend. And as one company said, it's not about creating a strategy for sustainability. It's creating a sustainable business strategy. That's the key for them.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's great. Leading with that sustainable factor in order to build the business, it's something that we've been sharing here a lot on Idea Gen, and we're just glad to see that's happening around the globe. And so as we begin to close out here, how can our followers, how can our audience stay up to date on what's happening in the world of ESG in terms of Nasdaq's European markets? Where can we go to find more information?
We have different newsletters, and we do also have everything on the website. And of course, if you want more detailed information about any of our solutions, whether you're an investor or a corporate, please reach out to us, and we are happy to have that dialogue.
Wonderful. Well, Tomas Thyblad, Vice President, Head of ESG Solutions for European Markets and Nasdaq, thank you so much for joining this morning, and thank you for the insights that you brought.
Thank you very much for having me.